Morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Wednesday, June the 5th, 2024. I hope you're safe and healthy today. Hope your family's safe and healthy. Excuse me, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are saving lives. Those also that make deliveries for us for our convenience, and those that pick up garbage to keep our places clean. Double blessings on the men and women out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the teenagers and the children that are victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are also victims of prostitution, child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators of these things. Double curses on those who actually make money from these things. And double curses on the perverts that create the demand for these things. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, children, families, veterans, senior citizens, homeless in the United States of America. And millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. Today I want to talk about Precious Achiuwa. Interesting situation. Now, generally, there's a lot of guys that come up like Precious did. And what I mean by that, I want to look at Precious's it's a small history. Okay, so Precious he's Nigerian from the Igbo tribe, but he was raised in Bronx, New York. He went to St. Benedict's Prep in Newark, and then Newark, New Jersey. Then he went to Montverde Academy in Florida. Generally, this type of history, when somebody's in a high school, then they go to a prep school, and then they go to a place like Montverde Academy. This is a lot of guys go through this, but generally speaking, guys that go through this type of path are pro basketball prospects. They're prospects to play pro ball. Now, a lot of guys that go through this path don't make it in the league, but that's why they go. They're bigger, stronger, faster, a little bit more skilled than guys their age in their cohort. And so Precious was one of those guys. Now, when you get to the league, you want to see if they actually can play in the league. Now, again, a lot of people go through this process, but not everybody can actually play in the league. Okay? You don't know that until they actually get here. This is why guys like Precious, that's 24 years old, are more valuable than anybody in this draft, because he's already proven he can play in the league. Everybody in this draft is a crapshoot. Some are more safe bets than others, but until they actually prove they can play in the league, it's a crapshoot. You're taking a risk. So what you try to do in the draft is reduce the risk by doing as much background and analysis as you can on a player to see if he can actually play in the league. Because the worst thing in the world is to draft somebody that's really not an NBA player. Okay? And so that's why the Knicks are very good at doing a lot of background, on the mental, the emotional, and of course, the athletic skill level on a player before they draft him. And then they try to balance that with what the cost is of drafting, because this costs money. So with Precious, what you have here is a young player. Now, he's just finishing his third season. He's 24 years old. He'll be 25 at the beginning of next season. He's already proven that he can play in the league. Okay, he's already proven that he's able to handle business. When pressed into service as a starter because of injuries this past season for the Knicks, he averaged 13 points, 9 boards a game, and was plus 29 in the 18 games that he had to start. Okay, and he didn't do as well coming off the bench. Okay, now that doesn't mean he won't be good in the future coming off the bench, because one of the things about a guy that's 24 years old, especially when you're looking at a Precious Achiuwa in particular, he has upside. He has upside, which means not just because of his age 24, but because you can see he has a nice technical jump shot. He's got to hit it more consistently, but it's there. He can shoot the foul shot. He obviously plays really good defense, and aside from playing really good defense, he can rebound the basketball. And on top of all of that, He has a great motor. Okay, so basically, specifically with respect to Tom Thibodeau and the Knicks, he checks all the boxes. He has upside, he has a motor, he rebounds, he defends, and he does score, and he hits consistently from the foul line. And he's a great shot blocker for a guy that's 6'8" and plays the power forward position and small ball 5. So you have all the tools. You know you have a guy. So right at this point, there's nobody in the 2024 draft that's more of a sure thing than Precious Achiuwa. Okay? So anybody in the Knicks draft is not going to play above him because he's already ready. He's proven it. So now the question is financial, business. Can the Knicks afford to keep him? And we talked about the Knicks rotation. Right now, it's set. At least for 8 guys, it's set. Okay? Jew is a starter. Hartenstein's a starter. OG's a starter. Brunson, of course, and DiVincenzo. Those are your 5 starters. And they've proven that they can ball. And they're good enough to get you to the 2nd seed in the East. The bench is Mitchell Robinson, Josh Hart, and Deuce McBride. All 3 have already proven they can play off the bench. Okay, when they're all healthy. So you have that. The question is your 9th man. Who's going to play? 9 guys play in Tom Thibodeau's rotation. Not 10, 9. So we talked about Bodega 44 yesterday and how it's likely he would be the 9th guy. But at the same time, you do want to hang on to Precious if you can because of all the reasons I just stated. When pressed into service, he can perform, especially as a starter. When given minutes, he can perform. He has upside. Now, what will he cost? I don't think he's going to cost more than the $6.7 million his cap hold is. That's the max I think he's going to cost per season. So you might give him that money or something similar to that. It could be $6 million, $5 million, $8 million, somewhere in that vicinity. Let's say $5 to $8 million over the next 3 years. You can give him that. And you can keep him there. That would be able to keep him and Bodega. The only question to that, the only possible reason that won't happen is because he's a restricted free agent, if some team offers him more than that. If some team offers him above those numbers, like some team offers him mid-level exception money, $12 million, he's gone because the Knicks are not going to pay that. Okay, they're just not. They don't need to. So good for him if he gets that. But if he doesn't, he should accept the offer that's probably going to come from the Dom. That's between $5 and $8 million per year for the next 3 seasons. Something similar to Deuce. He'll get more money than Deuce, as I think we all realize Deuce's agent screwed him in this past thing, but we can't do nothing about that right now. They don't need whining about it. It's over. He signed a contract. Move on. But he'll probably be eligible. Deuce that is eligible for an extension next year or the year after that. He'll be extension eligible and he'll get more money. But for now, that's what he signed. Precious is going to get more than that. Deuce should have. 5 to 8 million over the next 3 years. So you're talking about 15 to 24 million over 3 years. That'll be a good number for him. And that way the Knicks could keep him and Bodega. Okay. With respect to trades, I don't even want to talk about that. That's not an issue if you sign Precious. In other words, the draft is coming up at the end of June. Okay. By the end of June, you will know what the Knicks are going to go do going forward. Now, recently, yesterday even, I saw a report that the Nets would like to keep Mikal Bridges, which I think is silly, and they want to build around him, which again, I think is silly. But if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. That takes Mikal Bridges off the table. That's fine. The Knicks could, and like I said, there's about 3 players that were available, but the Nets are looking to build around Mikal Bridges. They're probably keeping Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith. Those are playoff piece type of guys coming off your bench and could spot start for you too. So they'll probably keep them. That leaves Alex Caruso, and if he's not available, then we stay where we at. We good staying put. We really are. So you will know by draft night what the Knicks are going to do. If they draft a player and keep him, they're going to go with the crew they got going forward. If they trade their draft picks, they're making a trade. And then everything changes. And we'll know that. I don't expect them to keep both number 1 picks. They're going to trade one of them. probably trade their own and keep the Dallas one, and use it, make a future number one later. Okay, that they probably will do, and then they'll take their second rounder and they may package that, or they may use that as well. They don't pay as much money for second round picks. Second round picks don't have guaranteed money. That's why they may use the second round pick, because again, it's about finance too. You got to think about that with the Dom. So you'll know by draft night though, if they trade both of their number ones, they're doing something with their roster this summer. If they don't, your roster is going to be what it is right now, and you're going to have a guy that you're grooming for 2 years from now. Okay, so that determines what they're going to do with Precious. Okay, so if they keep in the roster as it is, Precious will be your 10th guy, and he's a good 10th guy, like I said, because OG is going to miss games. Let's just be real, OG is going to miss games. If he can play the 65 games his contract is going to require him to play, that'd be great. But that's a stretch. Okay, he is in the Anthony Ambulance school. Love OG. Major piece for the Knicks. But he's in the Anthony Ambulance school. The difference between him and Anthony Ambulance himself is he ain't costing as much as Anthony Ambulance is. Ain't nowhere near costing as much as Anthony Ambulance is. He's probably $100 million less. So you could deal with that for that kind of discount. And so we're talking about somebody having to step in for about 15 to 20 games for OG. Precious. Okay? Or Josh Hart. And then Precious steps up in the bench rotation. But you want to keep a guy like this, a proven guy, a young guy with upside, that 2 years from now is going to be better than he is right now, as your 10th guy if you can. He's a perfect 10th guy. Okay? He can work as a 9th guy, but he'd have to really develop more, which he will. That's not a problem. I think he's going to develop more. But especially in this next 2 years. One thing also I like about Precious, it's obvious he's a hard worker. He's a hard worker. Tom Thibodeau loves that. He's got a great motor, and he's working hard, and he wants to get better. Okay, so that is a good thing also. So at this point, if I'm the Knicks and I'm trying to think as the Knicks, they probably try to keep both those guys, Precious and Bodega. Let Bodega get healthy, make him be the 8th guy, the 9th guy, and then have Precious as your 10th guy, which is probably going to get some starter minutes in play. What happens to Jericho Sims? I don't know. That's another decision they have to make. But honestly, in the bigger picture, that's a small fry that we don't have to really worry about. That's small fry. That's small potatoes. Okay, that's not something that's major for us. Precious would be a bit more major. His age, his upside, his talent level, his already proven production. Like I said, in the 18 games he's starting to give you 13 and 9, plus 29, really good defense. I think we have something there. In fact, we knew when the trade was made for OG, Precious was more than throwing in that trade, more than throwing, because of everything I just named. And like I said, 2 years from now, when he's 26, he's going to be a better basketball player. I can guarantee you he's going to be better. Now, he'll have a better jump shot. He'll have more moves around the post. He's still going to have his motor. He's going to be into his manhood body. I think, we got something going forward. So I think the Knicks want to keep him. And then, try to keep him with Bodega. And then next summer, Bodega's off the books. Precious should be ready to step up. And then you have hopefully a rookie, a Deron Holmes or a Ware or somebody that will be in their finishing their first year under Tom Thibodeau, going into their second year, ready for next summer's summer league, and trying to move forward so that after their second year, they're ready to show something. So we'll see. That's the plan I see for the Knicks. But we'll see what happens. Again, draft night will tell us pretty much everything. Draft night will tell us everything. Okay? But we'll see what happens. So draft night's the 26, 27, 28, something like that. And then we'll see. And then, in fact, they have till June 28th to declare Bodega's contract guaranteed for next season, June 28th, around the same time. So, like I said, you'll see a lot. You'll know a lot after draft night. Y'all enjoy your Wednesday.